Is there 2023? Is this the original Earth? We assume so, and there's plenty of reasons to assume that this is the case. But what if it's not the case? What other possibilities could we be looking at? Is this an Earth that's part of a franchise like McDonald's? Are there Earths that are owned by the fallen angels? Earths that are being held captive somehow? Are we clones? Are we on the island? Like that movie, The Island, we're clones. We think we're, living in a type of reality that we're not living in. In that movie, those clones were in some type of underground facility, but it could be that planets have been terraformed into dark Earths. And so we just think that it's the year 2023, but it's nothing like it. There are many different possibilities out there, and it's very difficult to say what is actually going on, but based on the intelligence that we're getting, something is coming. Something is coming to harvest human flesh. It's like they're mining human flesh, incubating demons inside people, and we're on this plantation like cows, grazing in the pasture, waiting for the alien slaughterhouse. I know that sounds fantastic, but the world is much, much worse than we think it is. And whatever is coming is basically going according to script. No matter what you point out, no matter what you say, no matter how much you share, it's never going to change the script. The rigged elections, the injustice, and the like, because it's more like the Matrix. It's more like They Live than what they're selling in the textbooks. What they're selling in the textbooks is science fiction. But whatever's coming through the veil, whatever is coming down the pipeline, whatever the reset is all about, really, it isn't just about eating bugs. It's about harvesting the planet. This planet is going to get harvested, more than likely, in the very near future. And chances are many of us are going to see it. Based on the intelligence that we're getting, it's going to be some kind of demon-like army of creatures coming through portals, snatching people in the most horrific ways. And people are going to be, as the Bible says, searching for death, and they will not find it. It's going to be a living nightmare. And essentially it's this idea that starts connecting all the dots and tends to make more sense than everything else or every other idea or theory that's out there. And of course, at this stage, it's just a theory based on the intelligence that we're getting, but our impression is that something terrible is coming, something that most people will never be able to imagine, and hardly anybody will be able to defend themselves from. What we can say is that it is definitely a spiritual war. It is demonic and alien in nature, and it's only those that are trained in exorcist-like ideas that are going to have a chance against this army of darkness that's coming. All we can say is that we live in some kind of prison planet, and that this probably isn't the original Earth or the original timeline. How many Earths, how many universes, how many timelines are there is difficult to say with any certainty from the human perspective. But as it says in Genesis, multiply and replenish the earth. It seems like we've been here before. And according to the Gospels, it looks like there are multiple timelines, as we see in the Synoptic Gospels and the Asynoptic Gospel of John. There are multiple timelines. It's not a mistake. We've been here before. As Jesus said, Elias came back, and they knew him not. It was John the Baptist. We keep looping. We keep coming back. And essentially all of the evil keeps coming back. But it is our impression that the fallen angels from Genesis chapter 6 spawned an empire of dark, hellish earths, holding them hostage. Not only did they trash the original planet, but it looks like they've terraformed and spawned other planets. And we all think we're on planet Earth, and we all think it's the year 2023 until the aliens come and harvest the shit out of the planet. And that looks like what's coming. But I don't think that we're here without means to defend ourselves. In Ephesians chapter 6, it says, put on the full armor. This isn't a metaphor. This is a requirement. If you're going to survive, you need to start making armor and shielding for what's coming, because these demons use energy weapons. And it is possible to fight back with telekinetics. When Jesus came to the fig tree and there was nothing there, he said to the fig tree, just wither away and die. And it did. And the disciples were amazed. And Jesus told them, you can do this and so much more. What does this have to do with the Beatitudes? When the unclean spirit comes out of a man, he seeks rest in dry places and finds none, and then comes back with 7 other spirits, each one worse than himself. And the last state of that man was worse than the first. What does that have to do with the Beatitudes? In the Acts of the Apostles, Peter basically told a guy who was trying to cheat him out of money to basically burst and die, and he did right there in front of everyone. What does that have to do with the Beatitudes? We're capable of more than what we think. And telekinetics is essentially the way to describe it. As Paul would say, whether in the body or out of the body, he did not know. Some people would call that remote viewing. Other people would call that New Age. But in fact, it's old school. We are capable of so much more. We are the secret weapon if you can train your mind, if you can train yourself. And that's what Jedi training is all about on STFN. Be sure to subscribe to that on our Patreon channel at patreon.com/STF News.
And if you hear this, like Ron Johnson says, you are the resistance. Okay. We gotta do something.